family, and welcome back to my channel. So for this video, it is an update on my travel contract in the US. So if you have seen my first video, you know I've been here for a little bit over 13 weeks at this point and still going. So I just wanted to kind of pop in and give you guys an update. And also a lot of people have been emailing me, so I decided instead of individually emailing people, I could just update a video where I'll kind of explain some of the questions that many people have asked me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comment section if you found this video helpful. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave that in the comment section, and let's get into this video. All right, so first things first, you can probably notice that my setting is a little bit different. The travel agency that I'm working with, they did have us move to another hotel. I think there was some sort of event happening in that area, and so they didn't book the hotel rooms in advance, and so we just had to move. And I mean, I like this hotel more than the other hotel, so I was okay with it. The distance from this hotel to the hospital that me and my colleagues are at is a little bit further, so I mean, it's like a plus and a negative, but hey, I'm gonna make it work. First question that a lot of people have been asking me is about CGFNS. So CGFNS, once again, is a credentialing organization that is going to help ensure that your credentials meet the standard to work as a nurse in the US. Meaning you have done your NCLEX, you have completed a 4-year education program or whatever is needed. So once CGFNS completes your visa screen, they are going to send it to you. Part of this process includes whichever board of nursing that you fall under. That board of nursing needs to send you need to send them the application given by CGFNS, because CGFNS needs to confirm that you are, yes, indeed, licensed with a board in Canada. So I think they send like a editable PDF. So most board of nursing, they know the process. So you pay whatever, I think $16 if you're in Ontario, for them to complete that form, and then they send that off to CGFNS. So you should not have to worry about that part. Make sure you stay on top of it though. So meaning if, for example, you're in Ontario and you're contacting the College of Nurses of Ontario, you have to ensure that you follow up with them. So say, for example, you are, it's been a week and you haven't heard from them, check your junk mail. A lot of times the transaction for payment goes to junk mail. So don't delay, make sure you check your junk mail. And if they send you the receipt for payment, you make that payment, they will start to process that document and they will send it to CGFNS. Once CGFNS has checkmarked everything off on the list, you just need to patiently wait for them to now send you your visa screen paper. That is it from CGFNS. You don't need to do anything else with them once you have received that visa screen. All right, so now you have your visa screen completed. What is next? While you're in the process of completing the visa screen, I would recommend that you get in contact with an agency, a travel agency that is somewhat educated and they really know about the transition for a Canadian nurse. Because a lot of these agencies are crisis agencies where they're not gonna really support whether it's financially your transition or are really accommodating. They may not even know. So I would really suggest finding agencies that can accommodate Canadian nurses. You don't wanna be in a situation where you're with an agency that does not know that you don't have a social security number and that you don't have a US address. So make sure that you really take that time and you find an agency that is really good in helping that transition. There's 2 agencies that I know of. I'm going to either put their information here or I'm gonna link it down in the description box. So make sure that you contact a recruiter to get more information, because your recruiter will help you in determining which US license you need to apply for. Remember that some states need a social security number in order for you to apply for their license. So do your research, meaning like the Board of Minnesota doesn't require a social security number. I believe New York doesn't require a social security number for you to apply for their license. So it's the same process for applying for a license. You literally will go on their bond, which stands for Board of Nursing, and you will fill out their application. Once you fill out the application, you will need to forward, it's a very similar document to the one that CGFNS gives you, whereby they need for whichever Board of Nursing you work for or work under in Canada, they need for that Board of Nursing to provide verification to them. So you're applying through endorsement. So that is how that process works. So you would just literally, same process, get that document sent over. The Board of Nursing in Canada that you work under will send that directly to whichever US state that you are applying to. All right, social security numbers. So just like in Canada, we have our social insurance numbers. In the US, they have something called social security numbers, and it's the same thing in regards to what it does. However, of course, our SIN numbers don't work in the US, just like their social security numbers would not work in Canada. So it's really important that when you do get here, even beforehand, you kind of know a time frame as to when you can apply for that social security number. And we know with COVID and all of this, things that have been delaying a lot of things in life, the process is slower. So you want to call in advance and see if you could get a date where you can go in and apply for your social security number. When you are ready to do that, make sure that you confirm all of the documents that you need in order to apply for a social security number and to ensure it gets approved. So next I'm going to talk about taxes. So I get this question all the time about taxes. So I know somebody who does taxes for Canadian nurses. When it gets to the US, Canada taxes, one thing I can definitely tell you, because I am not a tax agent or an accountant, so I can't give you financial advice as to how you should file your taxes. But I will tell you something, is that whatever money you make in the US is what you're going to be taxed on. You're not going to be taxed on, say you work like 2 months in Canada and then 6 months in the US. Like, you'll be taxed based off of the salary that you are making within where you work. So if you're working in the US, you're going to be taxed upon that gross amount that you make in the US. Canada, you'll get taxed by, CRA will tax you. In the US, they have the IRS, I believe, who does auditing and whatnot. So taxes, I mean, that's something I'm honestly still learning. If anyone has like information about taxes for Canadian nurses, please put that in the description box. Help everybody out, because we are not trying to get slammed with crazy tax refunds or returns that we'll have to do. Because I mean, right now travel nurses are making a whole lot of money, like crazy money. And so not having the right tax person can really mess things up. So for me, I'm kind of talking to somebody who I know might do my taxes, but the end result will really depend, and we'll just have to see. So if you know somebody and you want to help other people out, make sure you tag or just put that person's information down in the description box, just so they can also connect with that tax person. We do not want to be paying a lot of taxes back, but I mean, when you're making such a high amount, you're higher in a tax bracket, and unfortunately you just have to pay. So another question I get asked often is the systems, the US system versus the Canadian system. How do they differ and how are they similar? So I'm just going off the top of my head. I wrote things down, but I didn't really write details. So the hospital I worked at, they were using Epic for documentation. And Epic is in a lot of Canadian hospitals, which is good. So of course, you know, there's different versions, whether it's Meditech, Sorian, or Epic that you're using. So just, it's good to know that the documentation system that I use, the Epic, wasn't that different from an Epic I've used at another hospital in Canada. So, I mean, that's really good. Like, I felt good knowing that I was going to be able to adapt to a system I was similar with. But Meditech is my favorite documentation system because I've used it for so long, but it took me like maybe a week and a half to catch on to properly documenting an Epic. It is lengthy documentation. I have to say, like, I'm the type of nurse, I just like to do my head to toe assessments, do a focus assessment continuously, and chart at end of shift note. Like, I'm not really like it's a lot because they have like secure messaging for doctors, and the system is, in regards to documentation communication, I think very good. Like, we would have like Voceras, which would, I think it's similar to like an ASCOM phone, which is what I'm used to using. And like, the systems were very easy to use once you understand it. So a difference I will definitely say is in the US, or in this particular hospital, they use doctors called hospitalists, who are like your main contact person. So instead of like messaging an attending doctor or calling whoever is covering or on call, you would have hospitalists, and they literally round on their patients every single day, which was amazing, like amazing. And with those hospitalists that I've worked with, they were so easy to talk to. They were so easygoing. They were very accommodating to the patients. I was really happy with the attendings, with the hospitalists. The attendings, you will never see them ever. They're not around. So that was something I definitely noticed. So another difference that I found was in regards to some of the metric or values that were used. So I mean, for blood sugars, like, we usually in Canada, we like blood sugars to be like above 7 is definitely good. Whereas in the US, they use a different type of metrics where it's like, at this particular hospital, anything below 70 was kind of like borderline. So I got used to very quick how, like, what the normal range is. Like, you have to. But I would always have like a notepad, and I would put things in the notepad because their terminology and the way they have different acronyms and things stand for different things. It was very like, it was different. So the first 2 weeks I was there, I made sure to write every single thing in a notepad. Every single shift, I would review it just to make sure that I'm staying on top of things, because nursing skill is nursing skill, but communication is so important. So when you want to make sure that there's no miscommunication, you have to understand their terminology. So some of the terminology was a little bit weird, but like, you have to make it work. You have to. So they would say things like, oh, the patient's walkie-talkie. I'm like, walkie what? Just some acronyms that kind of, I don't like that. But, you know, I'm using their system. I'm gonna learn whatever it is that is needed. How I would get meds in the morning, we would go using the Pyxis. And I mean, the Pyxis is in Ontario too. It's not a far-fetched concept. However, I was at a hospital where like pharmacy was on top of your meds and having it there for you, even though it's an acute care facility. And another thing, pharmacy, oh my goodness, the difference with pharmacy in well, Ontario is the only place I can really speak of, and really just the city I worked in, compared to here. I love the pharmacist and the pharmacy in Ontario, because when I tell you that I had to reconciliate meds for patients, I was like, what? Like, I feel like that's something a pharmacist should do. Like, a pharmacist should be going through your script. A pharmacist should be reviewing what meds you have, like the frequency, all of that. I don't feel like that should really have been in the nurse's scope of practice, but in this particular facility, and I think this system that I worked at here, that's how they work. And it works for them, but it was really, I find that if you're a pharmacist or a pharmacy tech, like that should be your scope of practice. But once again, I can't speak to the whole situation because I don't know what other tasks they have to do, and I'm sure it's a lot. So that's how it worked here. But let me tell you, anytime there was a new admission in Ontario in the hospital that I work at, the pharmacist would be there, the dietitian would be there, like they would be there. But here it's like the pharmacist is gonna call you and say, well, the patient's med rec hasn't been reconciliated, and you'll think to yourself, like, aren't you supposed to do that? But yeah, that's not how it works down here. Surprise. Okay, and mentorship. So I have a lot of people requesting for me to mentor them on how to pursue travel nursing. And honestly, as much as I would love to help everybody in this whole, every nurse start travel nursing and become a travel nurse, you need to really evaluate if travel nursing is for you. Like, I've spent 13 weeks here without my family, without my friends, and it's not easy to do that. So if you have small kids, unless they're able to travel with you, or if you were just recently married, and you know, you have a lot of things going on, you gotta really decide if you're able to do this. Living in a hotel for 13 weeks is not easy. Like, I know I said I was gonna eat a lot of noodles, and I still eat a lot of noodles, but I definitely had to invest in an air fryer, a hot plate, and microwave, toaster, rice cooker. I was not about to struggle out here. I love my stomach way too much for me not to enjoy food. And like, you get real sick of like takeout. I don't care for takeout. I need some good like Nigerian food. I need some good Caribbean food. That's what I like. So, and you know, like, things will happen back home and you're not there. So it's like, oh, I wish I could see my family. I wish I could be with my family. So like, these things can also be very stressful as a nurse. So it's about sacrifice. And I feel like a lot of times when you are a travel nurse, a lot of staff nurses see you as like, oh, she's coming in to make some big bucks. And yes, I am. I'm coming to make some money. But at the same time, you also could do this. Like, you also have an opportunity if you choose to. It's not because I decide that I want to pursue this and I've made sacrifices to do so that you should hit on me. And let me tell you about dynamics in a hospital setting. And this is not even just travel nursing, but in any setting. Like, as a nurse, you need to understand that your coworkers are not your friends. Your coworkers are employees, just as yourself, that are there for patient care, patient safety, and improve overall quality of life for patients. Like, that's what they're there for. So, I mean, as much as the staff were amazing at this hospital, and I'm not even joking, like, I had no problems with any single person that worked there. Everyone was nice. Everyone was so accommodating. Everyone was so, oh my gosh, like, this has been the best experience I could have ever wished upon. Like, I've met so much amazing nurses that also work with the agency that I'm with, and I mean, they're like family to me. Like, it's just so, it's so amazing, and I'm just so thankful for the whole experience. It hasn't ended yet, but I felt like I should do this video now, especially because my hair looking good. If you're interested in this unit, it was sent to me by a company called Yolova, and I will link their video above or in the description box, so make sure you check it out. Anyways, I was off topic, but definitely this experience has been one that I'm so happy I did. So happy. And if you have questions, you know, feel free to reach out to me. It's in order to do this, you need contact with someone who has either done it or has done it. No other way to say it. But yeah, I'm just so blessed beyond measure. I'm so thankful for my friends and family. And shoot, is there anything else I'm missing? Oh, okay, I think I've kind of touched base on quite a bit of things. I haven't really been going out because of work, of course, but I mean, maybe towards the end of this assignment or towards the end of this contract, I'll definitely look at socializing a little bit more in the area. But that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if you have any questions regarding travel nursing. Feel free to shoot me an email. If you have sent me an email and I didn't reply, send me an email again, because honestly, between work, YouTube, and doing other crazy stuff, like, it takes some time. I have some coworkers I haven't replied to their messages from like 3 weeks. So it takes time, but yeah. I will see you guys in my next video.